Hi, Eagle Nez kids. It is time for Wednesday Night Bites. I have my Bible. I have pumpkin seeds. I need you to pause this and go and get those two things, Bible and bites, and come back because we're going to take a look in the Bible tonight. So on Sunday, if you watch the videos, we got to hear the story from the Bible, so we know it's true, about the disciples on the road to Emmaus. Now, there's two disciples, and they are walking to Emmaus, and all of a sudden, a third person is behind them, and they are talking. They don't know who this third person is. We do, because the Bible tells us it's Jesus, but they don't know this yet. And they are talking all about how Jesus died on the cross, how his grave was empty, all of these things. And they don't even realize that it's Jesus right behind them that they're talking to. Now they get to where they're going and they invite Jesus in for dinner, and he breaks the bread and they realize it's him. Let's look at that verse because I love the words that it uses. So we're going to look at Luke chapter 24, and it's verse 31. So that means big 24. And then once you find the 24, you just keep looking until you find the little number 31. And it says, then their eyes were opened and they recognized him. So it was like they were able to see. The blinders were taken off and they were able to see, this is Jesus. I try to sit here and think of what that must have felt like to know that you are in the presence, sitting across the table from Jesus. And I don't think I can even imagine it. It had to be amazing and phenomenal and crazy and so strange but wonderful all at the same time, right? Like, can you imagine sitting across the table from Jesus in person? Now, I love how it says here, let's read it one more time. It says, their eyes were opened and they recognized him. So it was as though when they were walking with him, they couldn't see him. They didn't know who it was. And then all of a sudden, when the time was right, their eyes were opened and they recognized him. Now, we go through things, some hard things, some weird things that we don't understand. Right now is a super weird time with everything with the coronavirus, and there's no direct answers, and we don't know what is going to happen when, or when we are going to have our next play date or anything like that. And we just don't understand why this is happening. But I firmly believe that if we lean into who Jesus is, who we know him to be, that at some point we will look back on this and see what God did for us during this time. Now, when I say lean in, I mean read the Bible, pray, ask questions to people that we trust, that we know will point us to Jesus. Now, I was thinking about this today, and I was thinking about how when I was a kid, my dad would take me hunting with him. And if you asked him, he would probably tell you that I wasn't a very fun person to take hunting because I complained a lot about hiking, and I was sometimes kind of whiny, and I just didn't love to go. But I remember a few times when we would be on a hill, we'd be looking out, and he would say, Alicia, do you see that over there? And I couldn't ever see it with my bare eyes. And he would pull out his binoculars, and he would start looking, and he would be able to focus them so that he could see what was across the ravine or across just a ways away from where we were at. And once he found it in the binoculars, he would hand me the binoculars and he would say, okay, do you see by that tree? You need to find that tree in the binoculars and then go down from there. Or he would give me some things to look for so that I could find this animal then that I was supposed to be seeing. And he would help me to focus because you have to turn the little things on the end to help focus. Sometimes I would maybe have to close one of my eyes and just use the one eye depending on how I was doing that using the binoculars. But he always gave me the tools that I needed to be able to see what he was trying to show me. And I want you guys to know that God will always give us the tools that we need. We always have access to those tools. And at some point, he will help us to see clearly what he wants us to see. He will take the covering off of our eyes. He will open our eyes and we will recognize him, just like that verse says. So that is my prayer for you today. I hope that each one of you knows that you are so, so loved. that we miss you so, so much, and that I'm praying for you often. I see different things that your families are doing, or I read your name on a list of kids, and I pray for you, each of you, often, and I hope that you know that, and I hope that you know that you're so loved and missed at Eagle Nest. Um, Write something in your journal this week, in your thankful journal, something that you're thankful for, and then a question that you have that you hope that God answers. And then that question you can ask someone in your family. You can look up some verses in the Bible to see if you can find an answer. Most of all, we can pray and just ask God to give us clarity on what that might be. All right, I love you all. I miss you, and I hope you have a great week.